You're listening to Coast with Art Bell. West of the Rockies, call 1-800-ART-BELL. East of the Rockies, call a therapist and find out why you're not cool enough to live west of the Rockies. And if you're Alec Baldwin, how many times do you have to be told to put your phone away? And now, Art Bell.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be across this vast land. I'm Art Bell, and you're listening to Coast. It's an honor to be back behind the microphone this evening, filling in for George Norrie. And tonight I have a special program planned. We're going to talk about the problem that a lot of our returning military veterans are having, finding employment. Tonight I have a special guest, Lieutenant Anderson, who is an Army helicopter assault pilot, right? Is that right, Lieutenant? Yeah, Art, thank you very much for having me on your show. I'm talking about this very serious topic. It's near and dear to my heart, and as you know, I already had a bad experience myself. I understand you found a job actually flying, although you're a demo. You were giving demonstrations, as I understand it, of remote controlled toy helicopters. Well, Art, I wouldn't call them a toy. They may not actually fire and have live munitions on, but what I was giving demonstrations of was actually a full replica of an AH-64 Apache, just like the one that I flew in Afghanistan for 3 tours. And yes, and I want to make sure I take this moment to thank you for your service. How was it that you lost this job giving the demos of the remote control helicopters? It was at the mall? Yeah, it was actually at the mall, and we're tasked with showing the shoppers how it actually works. So we're flying it around in close proximity to them and entertaining them and such. And I have to sign for the aircraft. When I show up and punch in, I take full responsibility for the aircraft. So when there's a threat to the aircraft, it's potentially going to come out of my salary. And there was some kind of threat to the aircraft? Well, what happened actually was unfortunate. I saw the Arab couple approaching from the J.C. Penney, and as they were approaching, it caught my... where does the Arab part come into play? You say you saw an Arab couple coming? Yeah. We're trained. We have more training than the average person, and what we've been through. We have a sixth sense, Art, that towards Muslim and Arabs, and so we just can sense when they're in our presence. And I really can't believe that you're making such a big deal out of an ethnicity. There in the mall, we have a lot of Arabs in America. What does this have to do with any threat to your aircraft? Okay, Art, I'll try to explain it again. Who do you think is responsible for 99.9% of the acts of terror that caused us to be in Afghanistan? And okay, you're sounding right from the get-go, you're sounding extremely bigoted toward Muslims. You have to understand that it's only a tiny sliver of the Muslim population that is a threat that are extremists. Well, Art, all I can say is I had a bad experience with one of their kids, and thank goodness I was alert and saw it coming, because otherwise it could have been a real problem. I mean, I had to do a special maneuver with the aircraft when this incident occurred that I'm going to tell you about. And when I did, I came really close to taking out a young lady who was handing out samples with Hickory Farms in the kiosk next to mine, and so it was a close call. Oh, okay, let's back up a minute. What caused you to almost lose control of the aircraft, as it were? I can't believe we're calling it an aircraft, because it's look, Art, it's it's a replica of an AH-64 Apache. Yeah, I know, you told me it's a replica of the one you actually flew, but it's a small little toy. Look, Art, I don't call your microphone a toy, okay? And I don't belittle you for your voice and your little show, okay? I'm coming on, and I'm graciously willing to give you my time and talk to you about. All right, I'm sorry. I did not mean to insult you, okay? I'm just trying to understand what led up to you feeling like your aircraft was threatened by an Arab child. I don't know how you knew they were Arab, but look, Art, like I told you, we have millions of dollars of training given to us, some of us tens of millions of dollars of training, and so our senses are honed to a degree that you couldn't possibly imagine. So I knew that they were Arab, I knew that they were Muslim, and it was made obvious, of course, by the fact that the wife had the hair covered, the headdress and everything, and the child, the little combatant, showed signs of aggression. Little Habib takes an aggressive posture with me, and I'm going to respond in kind. Oh, you called him Little Habib? I'm just saying. I picked a name out of the hat. When little Muhammad shows me his intention to threaten the aircraft, he's hiding there behind a ceramic turtle in the little kids' playground area just outside the JCPenney. He's got a Cinnabon in one hand, and he's got a partially melted frozen yogurt in the other, and he's rearing back with the Cinnabon. He's fully loaded for bear, with his eyes on my aircraft. What do you think? I mean, what am I supposed to do? I've got to be cognizant of that, and we're trained, as you must know, we're trained not to be I'm sorry. I mean passive. Okay, let's just pick a better word than what I was going to say. We're trained to not to be passive and not to be reactive, but we are taught in the Army as attack helicopter pilots to be proactive. Yeah, Lieutenant Anderson. Of course, but see, that's in combat. Okay, Lieutenant, you weren't in a war zone. You understand that, right? Art, seriously, when was the last time you visited your local mall? Shoppers are virtually no different than insurgents that we dealt with in Afghanistan. Shoppers are just as ruthless. Sometimes I've found working this job in the mall that they can surprise you and sometimes even be a little more ruthless than what we found with the insurgents in Afghanistan. You give them an inch and they'll burn your ass in a millisecond. So okay, I don't know where you're getting that from, because of shoppers, unless you're. Look, Art, I mean, didn't you hear about what happened on Black Friday and all the people that were committing violent acts to one another, and one lady, macing everybody around her so she could hoard the waffle irons at the Walmart. I mean, it's just that's worse behavior than what we saw in Afghanistan from the insurgents. So I'm operating the aircraft, and I am keeping an eye on the little Shahib who is getting ready to throw a Cinnabon at my aircraft, and of course I'm preparing to take countermeasures, and I even warned the parents. I gave an announcement that I was enforcing a no-fly zone there, in that section of the mall, and to keep their little combatants on a leash. You told the parents nearby to keep their little combatants on a leash? Okay, Lieutenant, see, that is extremely provocative. It seems to me you provoke the kids' behavior to some extent. Well, look, Art, you're reading into it big time. You weren't there. I exercised incredible restraint. If I had wanted to, at any time, I could have taken that little Rahib's nose right off his face. I could have redesigned his face, but all I did was end up giving him a haircut. His hair was a little too long anyway. For an Arab kid, you don't see Arab kids normally. It's just not the culture for them to have long hair, and so I give him a haircut, and he knows where we stand now. I mean, he's showing me respect from now on, not having any more problems, I'm sure, with and the word's gotten around as a result of this. The rest of the day after this happened, you gave him, let me back up, you gave him a haircut? Yeah, I could have easily done much worse than that, but the kid was looking like a little girl almost, and it's important for young boys to keep a close haircut. All right, it sounds like you went way too far. Okay, and that's probably your military training and conditioning that makes you think that kids should have really short hair, but still, it doesn't matter. You had no right to come that close to the child. Look, Art, this little 10-year-old knew what he was doing. He was 10, you say he was 10 years old? I can't believe this. Well, look, Art, I can't tell you how many times in Afghanistan we came across insurgents who were even younger than 10 years old. We saw them often as suicide bombers. It's just, look, Lieutenant Anderson, all due respect, you're in the mall. You're not in a war zone. I really think you're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. I'd really like to try to get you some help. Would you let me do that? Look, Art, I'll tell you what I will let you do is I'll let you shut up and listen. Oh, excuse me? If you just show a little more respect to who you're talking to here and what I've been through, the service I've given your country, our country, and just stop, rushing to judgment and listen, and let me tell you that the degree to which my aircraft was placed in jeopardy was pretty serious, and we have to be extremely careful because other people who've held this position before me caused a situation when they lost control of an aircraft because they were being harassed by little kids, teenagers and such, and some adults even, who are extremely juvenile, who would never even make it in the Marine Corps, let alone the Army. So these idiots, these immature pranksters, causing problems for our employees who have not been able to make it there because they because they're harassed, they lose control of the aircraft, and they end up crashing into the Santa display and running into the back of old ladies, getting tangled up into their wigs, and complaints are made, and next thing you know, we're not allowed to have the aircraft kiosk there, our little airport in the mall anymore. So that's the reason why, I had to be extra vigilant when this little Muhammad decided to rear back with his Cinnabon. And did he actually, Lieutenant? Did he ever actually throw the Cinnabon? Yeah, he did. And that's why I want you to know, I want you to listen and hear me. I showed great restraint because I waited until he actually fired on me, and I did not take action before he fired on me. I'm enforcing a no-fly zone, and I do that well. And you have any idea what would have happened if that Cinnabon had hit the aircraft? It would have been catastrophic. And so the kid had amazing aim also. He came very close to striking me, and like I said, I had to perform a very difficult maneuver called a crazy eight. It's a figure eight maneuver that oftentimes, if you don't do it correctly, causes you to have to perform an auto-rotate hard landing. And like I mentioned earlier, I did this maneuver, and I came very close to taking out a young lady who was giving out samples for Hickory Farms, and I came very close to striking her in the head with the aircraft as I banked and pulled around to get into position to respond, to retaliate against the little Rahib hiding behind the ceramic turtle. And I got him in my sights, and he reared back with the I believe he said frozen yogurt. Yeah, thank you. Do you have any idea? Do you and your listeners, can you imagine? Do you have any idea what frozen yogurt can do to Teflon-coated rotors on a AH-64 Apache? You have any idea what it can do? I imagine it gets pretty sticky. Okay, Art. You find this a little bit funny? Is that it? No, I just, I thought it was, sticky. I don't know, it just struck me as humorous. And I'm still trying to get used to you calling it an aircraft, okay? Look, Art, it's all I've got. And I have to sign for that. It's an $80 piece of equipment. And, I don't have $80 to my name after my bills are paid, so I can't afford to have that come out of my my salary, my paycheck. And so I had to I had to protect the aircraft, and like I said, I did what I had to do, and I could have taken off at the kid's nose, but what is the fixation you seem to have with the little kid's nose? I don't know, Art. It's just we're trained to be very observant, and that's the one thing that sticks out in my memory of this little insurgent was the size of his nose. That and I kept thinking, I could take that thing off in just half a second with my rhino removal rotate that I've learned how to do with it. Your rhino removal, you sound like you really need help. Look, Art, the help that I need is I need my job back. I need respect. You don't know what it's like to be an Army attack helicopter pilot, having served for 3 tours in Afghanistan. And I come back to my country, and I get grounded from flying a remote control aircraft. Okay. That's even worse than being grounded from flying the Goodyear blimp. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're laughing at me, and I'm really trying to be serious, but you're just not grasping you're being very disrespectful to me, Art. You're not really helping the situation. No, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to get you to understand that you overreacted, that the child is not a combatant, and that this was your fault for escalating the whole thing. Listen, Art, okay? I wasn't the one who attacked. I wasn't the one that threw a Cinnabon at the kid. I wasn't going to throw frozen yogurt on him. I wasn't going to do anything like that. I was simply being red, white, and blue, and now I am an Army helicopter pilot who has now been grounded from flying a remote control aircraft. Okay, I don't think that is being appreciative of my service, and that's all I have to say to you. Good night. Okay, I guess Lieutenant Anderson decided to go, and that's going to be it for the program tonight. Thank you for listening. I'm Art Bell, and you're listening to Coast to Coast.